All right, everybody. Welcome to the call here. Thanks for being on. It was kind of last minute, but I got a lot more responses to this email I sent this morning than I thought I would. So I figured this would be a good way to get everybody's kind of questions answered. Steve can describe what he does and everything, and then we can get the information out. So I met Steve through a friend of mine. His name is Ken McCarthy, and if you don't know Ken McCarthy, he is like the super OG godfather of internet marketing. Since the '90s, since like it actually people started using it for marketing, he used to put on a event every year called The System, which I spoke at a few times, and really always stays on the cutting edge of the internet marketing. So. He talks, I listen, and, he told me that I should meet this guy, that was doing, really good things on Facebook. And so he introduced us, and I did, have pleasure of talking to him, and he was right. And, so I think the thing that most really, the main impressive thing to me was that he was able to do the numbers that he has done all white hat, because as you know, with me, most of the stuff that I've done involves cloaking, what a lot of people label as black hat. And, it's a lot of cat and mouse. It's a lot of, churn and burn through accounts. Whereas this guy's able to, literally spend millions in one account. He's very close to Facebook. He knows exactly, what Facebook likes, what they don't like. He has not, been banned. He hasn't, and he's actually helped a lot of other people get unbanned, or at least, help them in situations where, they have been banned. And, he does a lot of the same type of CPA offers that we promote, but, he's figured out how to do it, without cloaking, and I thought that was pretty impressive, especially with the types of numbers that he's doing, and he has a lot of experience running Facebook accounts all the way up to, $100 million, corporate accounts. So he has a lot of experience, and we talked, and I think that for the right people, for the right person, because he doesn't have time to coach a whole lot of people, but I think like two, maybe three people max, he can really work with them, to help them, make their Facebook plans and goals, happen in a white hat way. So I just want to talk real quick. And by the way, I actually dropped a link to the description of the coaching program in the chat. It's superphil@rockstar.com/white hat. Excuse me, superphil@rockstar.com/WH. And so that kind of just gives us a description of the coaching program. But basically, we're looking for, one or two, maybe three private clients that will actually fly to see Steve in Boston. I'll come to, I'll at least come to one of them. And so meet with him for 2 days, and, let him spill his guts and work with him virtually for the next 6 months to build some killer campaigns. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Steve Fantasia.
Hey, everybody. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's kind of fortunate the way we kind of ran into each other and started working together. Like you mentioned, long-term, I've been to Facebook corporate. I've owned 2 agencies, sold one in 55 days. With fluffy white tail on Facebook, as I say, I don't run any cloaking or anything like that. What I've done, though, is just basically been as an agency manager, running, you mentioned $100 million accounts. That's a lot. That's a lot of ad spend. And you learn a lot. And you get really close to Facebook. I had the top Facebook rep you can have for 3.5 years or so. Like I said, I've been out to Facebook. And so I'm able to really find the ins and outs, near prohibited, restricted, what the policy is for Facebook, the policy team, what they're looking for. And so through a meandering journey, I ended up doing a lot of consulting for some lead gen guys, and I started to see what they're doing, and they're just blowing their ad accounts up, and they're just rotating and doing this cloaking stuff. And I my background, I said, hey man, you don't have to do that. So I worked through, wrote their landing pages and developed their ads and used their language and looked at things and figured out ways to stay on the good side of Facebook And that's really where the money is, because then you can optimize, you know. One of the things I saw with guys doing the black hat stuff is their ad account will be up for 3 or 4 days, but you know, so they can't use their pixel right. They don't put pixels on their page. They're not optimizing. They're not doing conversions. You know, the budgeting systems that you use, if you're up for 3 or 4 days, aren't going to work. So, I mean, it's just so much easier and profitable to stay up, you know, to do 100, 200, 300,000 in a single account, you know, and that's doing auto and finance and diet. I mean, I've done all that stuff. And so there's just ways of doing it, you know, and, you know, that's kind of what I'm looking to show. Again, yeah, 2 or 3 people, something like that. I mean, the real stuff, you know, what I've found too is you get some really high level gurus, they'll say, and, you know, one, the only thing they ever run is their own stuff. So, I mean, what kind of knowledge is that? Or two, that they know a lot about Facebook, but they don't know how to, you know, go to the edge, right? To kind of do stuff that makes money. You know, they're all about selling lipstick. So, you know, I found kind of a sweet spot running. I call it near prohibited. That's not really a Facebook term. Facebook has 2 things, prohibited and restricted, right? Prohibited are things like guns. You can't sell guns. Restricted are things like gambling. You can run real money gambling. So there's 2 things. And near prohibited, I call like diet offers, things like that, because Facebook doesn't like it. But you can run it if you do it a certain way and you run a certain techniques and do kind of landers in a certain sequence and all that. So there's a lot of things that we could go over, and you know, things that trigger disapprovals and bans and the actual process of why things are, how they're approved. A lot of people, they don't understand that because, again, they're not dealing with Facebook on the white hat level. So they don't understand. They just think, oh, I'll just run it in right column because people can't comment on right column. So then my ads won't get denied or disapproved, you know, but that's not based on any real Facebook knowledge. It's just, you know, kind of guessing. So there's a lot out there. So it'd be really good to get out and just kind of let everybody know what actually is going on. You know, the way I describe it is I'm pretty much as close as you can get to an ex-Facebook employee, you know, because again, working so close with them that, I mean, there's a lot of things that I can tell you real quick that'll just save you a ton of money, keep your ad account up. And then we can start getting into optimization and different scaling strategies. I mean, I've taken people from 15,000 a month to 750,000 a month. I mean, you know, I have campaigns, $1,100 one day, 10 days later, they're doing 18,000. You know, there's a lot of different strategies. It's also a thing that I see on the quote guru market is people have like one trick and that's what they promote, and that's fine, but it's not going to work for I'd rather do a philosophy and a strategy that you could then overlay it onto whatever you want. I mean, guys will come to me and say, have you ever run, you know, lead gen or financial? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing. You know what I mean? It's just, you have to understand the platform and how it works. And luckily that's what I've been doing. And when you do that, you know, you can get 10% click-through rates on your ads, 30% click-through rates on your offers, and then just keep that going. And, you know, again, tool, optimize, scale, you know, work with it. And it's a pretty good life. We set up auto rules. I mean, you don't really have to do too much hands-on once you get it set up really well, if you're not, again, going through that cat and mouse and, you know, putting in new credit cards and all that stuff. So it's pretty fun when you do it the easy way, I say.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you guys are banging your heads against the wall when I talk to you, you know, in terms of what you guys are doing. I mean, it is a profitable platform, but if you, again, just kind of take a step back and you look at reason why you're doing it, you understand the back end of it, you understand Facebook's, you know, you kind of look at it through Facebook's eyes, you can then change what you're doing to just, you know, stay in the flow with them. And, you know, I mean, I'll get disapproved ads. Sure, that happens. But, you know, I have my account set up in a certain way that I won't get a banned account. You know, I mean, I do have guys running black hat, and I have developed black hat strategies that will keep your account up, you know, that kind of thing. But you can take that same approach and put it towards, again, near prohibited or some of these lead gen things like diet. You know, I've done a ton of diet offers and you know, knock out in the ad account ban. That's the big thing. I mean, the goal should be to get disapproved ads, not banned accounts, you know, page moderation, all that stuff. So there's a lot of advanced or fun things that you can get into once you get over the, you know, the little stuff.
All right. And, you know, just like me, I mean, this is going to be, similar to the private coaching that I do, but, you know, the whole philosophy is I do, you watch, you do, I watch, and then you do. So, It's going to start with, Steve putting together, and myself and Steve, but I'll be honest, it's going to be mostly Steve. I'll be there to help and, where I can, especially when it comes to, it's like ad copy, picking offers, all that type of stuff. But it's mostly Steve's deal because, like I said, most of my success, has been Black Hat. But we're going to do, start with a Done For You campaign that you can, learn from, and model. And then towards the end of the coaching, you'll be able to do everything yourself.
Yeah, I mean, that's my goal. I've done corporate training. I've trained teams, all that, stuff on the White Hat world. So my model is I want you to understand it, not necessarily mimic what I do. I want you to understand why we're doing it. So that way when something like, when video ads, and then you can target people based on viewership of video ads, right? So that's a way that you could just retarget audiences. You can do things like that. But once you understand why and how to get low cost, retargeting, you can then apply it to whatever's new. You don't have to just say, oh, I'm stuck on this one thing. The newest thing will be, hey, cool. Lead forms. Those came out 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think now. 2016 they came out. Lead formats. And again, if you understand the process and the reason why you use them and how you use them, then it doesn't matter when Facebook changes something, because you're not blowing up a one-trick pony. You're just understanding the platform. And so it's like, okay, well, now we'll just make a shift. CBO campaign budget optimization is going to be the law of the land in September. I've been using that for like 2 years. I don't understand why anyone thinks the world's going to blow up. It's just a different way of managing it. So that's the fun stuff I like. I like to get in that and have people understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, not just like, hey, run this ad and you'll make 10 grand and then come back to me for the next one. I mean, I want to train people to be able to do their own stuff and understand what's going on and why Facebook's doing what they're doing.
All right. Well, does anybody have any questions for Steve as far as coaching program or what he plans on teaching or anything? You can unmute yourself and ask.
Yep. Whatever you guys want to know.
All right. Well, here's the thing. Like I said, you can go to show my screen here again. You can go to superfit@rockstar.com/WH and read through this, and then you can and actually these examples are actually from my coaching, so I just left one there because I was successful with them, and I'll make sure that Steve's clients are successful as well. But here's the fees. It's $60,000 one time, or if you need to, we can break it up into 2 or 3 payments, but of course you end up paying more that way. But these are the payment options. We're going to give you a year money back guarantee, and that's that. And so if you're interested, you can apply here. It'll go to just a quick little application here. Fill out real quick. It's only a few questions. Submit that, and then we'll be in touch with you. We just want to make sure that it's a good fit, for you as well as for us, and then we'll take it from there. So
Greg, I saw one question come up. They said, how long does it take? And I can answer that quickly. I mean, we could be doing it, you can get an ad account, an ad campaign up the same day. So it's going to be like, it depends on what your offer is, right? I mean, if you're set up with what offers you're at, the way that I would like to do it is I'd like to see, who you're using for an affiliate or whatever the offer is. Let's say it's lead, you're doing lead generation, like auto insurance or something, right? And then, we'll just make it. We'll say, okay, let's go. Let me see your lander. And then we'll adjust the lander. And I'll show you my landers. I write all my own landers. We'll do that in the meeting. And, we go from there, and then you hit go. I mean, it's not overly complicated. Now it does take, here's the thing. It takes a little bit of time for the Facebook pixel to optimize, so I usually do this. I tell people, and this is kind of what I've been doing lately, is running traffic for people. I'll go in, I'll say, hey man, 2-3 days, I'm going to be in the negative. I just want to get some data, when I'm starting something new. Let me some data. Let me buy some data. And then I like $1,500. I spend that. And then once I'm after $1,500, I start scaling, and then I like to be at, I like to be at $1,000 a day, pretty quick, you know, otherwise not worth my time. And then once you're at there, then it's usually start getting into the affiliates and their caps and stuff. But I mean, obviously this workarounds there. And then from there, you just go and you just kind of scale it up and you start breaking it out and you do, you know, I've had offers that I was doing 20 grand a day within 5 days. Now, I mean, that's a great offer that happened to work, but in general, it shouldn't be super, it's not long. I mean, you know what I mean? It's just the process. But again, each offer is different depending on what you're running, how crowded is it, all that kind of stuff. But it's a long-term thing. I mean, you're basically going to be taught, I'm going to teach you how to fish, right? And I'm not doing a get rich quick thing. I mean, I'm just giving you a skill set, and I'm going to show you how to manage $1 million ad accounts. And one of the things that I see a lot with these gurus is that the structure of their ad account, when you actually go in the back end and you look at it, is set up to manage at about $1,000 a day. Once you start getting up higher and you try scaling, if your structure's not right, it's going to fall apart. And the reason why they don't know that is because a lot of them haven't actually done $1 million a month. I mean, you know, when you're spending $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a day, a screw up costs a lot of money, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know out there. So if you don't have your ad account set up the right way, it's not going to be able to manage it. It's going to go, your CPA is going to go through the roof, your CPMs are going to go through the roof, and you're going to just lose it. You're going to wipe out all your profit. So, you know, I don't like to lose money. So I'm really big on setting it up the right way. And I have 3 to 4, 5 strategies of setting it up. So I don't pigeonhole myself. I just did a live event in November, and I'm running things completely different than what I said in November, which is why I don't want to do a course, you know, because people have always said, hey man, do a course. And I'm like, you can't do a static course because things change on the fly. So, you know, just from 6, 7 months, I'm doing things different, which is what I love about, you know, Greg's system here. Cause it's like, you know, it's fluid, it's real time. It's, we can change things up and say, hey man, you know, CBO hit in September. It totally messed up this bidding strategy. We need to make an audible, and then we do it, and you know, it works. And that's kind of, you know, where I like to see it.
All right. Any more questions? But yeah, you know, I think, I mean, in my opinion, this is a life-changing opportunity because, you know, you don't really run into people with this level of expertise, you know, that are willing, you know, to actually teach it, not only teach it, but actually take you by the hand and show you. But that's what he's doing, you know, except for 2, maximum 3 people. So superfilletrockstar.com/WH. Check that out, apply at the bottom, and then we'll be in touch.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Steve. Thanks, everybody, for being on, and you guys have a great day. Great rest of the day.